Hi, I'm Christy Buffington, and we just learned about how and why we should go to Alaska to study glaciers. And right now, I want you to think about food. Maybe you've eaten already, but if you're in Alaska and you need to eat, you pick berries. On average, Alaskans pick 70 liters of berries a year to feed their families. So, what do we got going on berries? Well, berries are changing in Alaska because of climate change. Who are the characters that we're studying in this story? We're studying 4 kinds of berries. We're studying prickly rose, crowberry, low bush cranberry, and high bush cranberry. And the reason why we picked those 4 stories is because we listen to 4 berries is because we listen to stories about foods that are important to communities in Alaska, and these type of berries typically froze ripe so that they were available to people and animals to eat all winter long. But what's happening in these 28 communities across Alaska who are collecting citizen science berry data is by October 31st, the berries are gone. 3/4 of them in this community in Venati were gone, and only less than 20% were ripe. And in Anchorage, we had like a sliver. 10% were ripe berries, and the rest were rotten, damaged, or dried out because of climate change. So how do we help students learn about what's happening? Well, we share stories. And stories is a way for students to engage in science and to make sense of their data. And these are stories that I'd love to share with you after this talk from Shishmara, from Metlakatla, from Bethel, from Fort Wainwright in 28 communities. And we have over 9,500 citizen science volunteers who've done this. So I'd like to thank these 28 communities. I'd like to thank Dr. Katie Spellman, who is a PI on this project, and Dr. Elena Sparrow, who's also a PI on this project. So thank you, and I'd love questions about delicious berries. Yes?
So if people want to get involved and participate in your study or become citizen scientists themselves, how can they do that?
Great. The question is, if people want to get involved and participate in citizen science, how do they do that? So my name here, Christina Buffington, I'm cbuffington at alaska.edu, and I have cards. And we have this project, and we also have another Citizen Science Globe project. And if you're in Alaska, you can take pictures of berries that are blooming in the fall. We're having more and more late bloomers, as we call them, that these buds are supposed to bloom the next spring. They're not waiting till spring. It's so warm and it's so wet in our wet falls that they're actually bursting, and we need your data, we need your pictures, so there's lots of ways to engage. Thank you. Other questions? Yes. So the question is, are we interested in berries in Southeast Alaska as well? And we do have communities. Metlakatla is the furthest. Well, actually, Unalaska is the furthest south, but southeast is going to be Metlakatla. And those students actually have collected data and then traveled with their berry science stories and shared their dissolved oxygen stories about water, and also shared their berry stories. And it's very interesting in Southeast Alaska. Those berries are ripe until December. There's very difference in the ecoregions in Alaska. So yes. Other questions? All right, thank you so much, and let's get something to eat.